Hello, hello. It's Wednesday, my crew. How's it going? Welcome to Party Wipe, episode 51. We're continuing to work on our roguelike deck builder in Godot. Hey, Rhiannon Journey. Hey, Diginanigans. Hey, Arneo. Rhiannon, busy day at work. You'll be probably lurking, gone. Yeah, no worries. How dare you? How dare you give us anything less than 100% of your attention? That's fine. I'm still finishing up a late breakfast croissant here. Got my coffee. Today, there's a few more UI turn flow things I want to work on, like the flow through the different turn segments. Like I want us to get through deployment phase and into the action phase and actually start coding up the actions and stuff like that. But we just got phaser blasted.
Maximum war.
Sapphire gifting a tier 1 sub to Arneo. Incredible. Thank you, Sapphire. Can't stay today? No worries. Hey, Rima's with the maximum warp. Jacob, how's it going? How's everyone doing today? Hey, Arneo with the 10-month sub badge. Look at that. You're almost at a year. A year of gifted subs. Hey, Nanigans, you're off for a couple of days. Like you're going to sink a few more hours into the Pixel Composer. Yeah, that was a neat tool. I haven't seen that. Pixel Composer. Seems cool. Mr. Streamer, please. My dad is Mr. Streamer. I'm just Dave. All right, we're pretty happy with all this stuff, like the cards, the characters. I put the undo redo buttons here, and I think I'll put like a volume and maybe a menu button on the right side. I haven't added it because there's no menu or volume, so we'll add that later when it matters. There's a couple of things I want to change. One is this. I don't necessarily want you to go into move mode just because you've selected a character. I want it to be more contextual. I want to add a state. So right now we have like selected or unselected, but we kind of have this in-between state that's like a preview where like if I play out a card and I'm like in the middle of playing the card, we have this hovered state where I show the character sheet, but we aren't actually selecting the character yet. And that's just so we can do things like we can look at equipment that we've already played, right? Oh, that highlight is in the wrong spot. Is that off by 2 pixels? It looks like it. Should fix that. But I want to add like a more formal hovered state. Where even is the highlight? Is it here? Page highlight. I think this is supposed to be down 1, 2 pixels. Hey, Lost Sleep Games, how's it going? It seems like a cool little tool. All right, so now if I do this, we equip like an item. We equip like another item. Oh, we don't see that. Oh, it needs to be an item that I'm like leveling up. Let's end the turn. Hey, Kick Hug, how's it going? Give somebody a dagger, I guess. Just gonna equip some items here. I want to see that equip page highlight. I guess I should see it right here. No. I just need to find a duplicate item. Just give me a duplicate. Give me an item I already have, please. It's rough. This is rough stuff. Just testing that equipment page highlight. Oh, here we go. Yeah, okay, that's in the right spot now. Is made in Game Maker. Oh, cool. LSG, things are going well for you. You got your game trailer mostly blocked out. You're waiting on some brand assets so you can add a bumper to the end. Ooh, nice. With the release date, etc. I need to start these buttons disabled. That's one thing I need to do. Yeah, I'm tired. So we're not going to go too crazy today on stuff. Sorry I missed stream yesterday. I just had a bunch of errands I needed to run. And work has been very busy. I think I will be online tomorrow. And the thing that I had that I thought was going to prevent me from streaming Saturday has been moved, so I think I will be online Saturday as well. So I don't anticipate missing any more streams this week. Everything was looking okay at the moment. Yeah, the undo redo buttons are nice. They're like in an icon mode normally, and then they switch to text. I like this format. So I'll probably put a couple more on the other side that we can support, like a menu button and maybe a volume slider or something. Or maybe just a volume button that opens slider menu. I don't know, it depends. We'll see. See what we end up. We don't even have sound in the game, so not a big deal. There are a couple things that are missing. Like I could have sworn we used to have a thing where if you hovered an item, you'd get the highlight on the board, or you'd get this selected bounds thing on the board, and you'd get highlights on the pages. I'm gonna try to turn that back on. I could have sworn we had that.
I think that's pretty.
And then the thing that I was talking about, where it's like if you select your character, yeah, they should be in some kind of mode that you can act on them. They can either move or act, depending. They're probably going to be in move by default. This is kind of why I liked having a move and an act button. But what I really don't want to have happen is you play a card on someone and now all of a sudden you're moving them. So I want to add that thing I was talking about of like the in-between state of like this hovered state and do a bit more of a formalized version of that. I don't quite know how I'm going to implement that, but this feels a little too touchy. I don't know, maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe we can get around it by just... Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we can get around it by just not dealing dealing the card hand until after the deployment. Which kind of makes a lot of sense to me. I don't know, I have to think about that. I guess I still want to do something. I don't really want to be in this state where you just drop a card and now all of a sudden you're moving things. You hit a major fatigue wall yesterday. You took the night off too. Nice. Picked up Diablo 4. Ooh. Yeah, that'll take some time. Yeah, I played Peak yesterday with some friends. We went up the new biome they added to the end, and then we also did their like Cosmic Ocean thing. Their like extra hard like end game thing that you can do. It was good. It's a good game. I like Peak a lot better than like Big Walk or any of the other kind of little local co-op kind of games. Not local. Local's the wrong word, but you know what I mean. Co-op games you play with your friends. And again, so you're trying to figure out how you can go about, or even if you want to, have more traditional pixel art perspective textures on top of your tiles, so you can make more 3D looking grass, etc. Without it being flat on your mesh. Huh. Yeah, I'm not sure what that would be like. Arnia, you can't decide if you'd rather start Diablo 4 or Path of Exile 2. Or are you in need of an action RPG? Those seem like very different choices. Insofar as I feel like Path of Exile 2 is way more hardcore than Diablo 4. Hey, no sleep till bedtime. Strongly in favor of Path of Exile 2. Yeah, Diablo 4 seems way more like the entry-level version of that. And Path of Exile seems way more like the very hardcore version. The advanced version. Diablo 4 is actually, yeah, it's okay on controller. I played 4 on controller. It's surprisingly good. Path of Exile 2 doesn't have great controller support. I can see that. I know a lot of people consider playing those games with controller kind of blasphemous, but... Okay, so Path of Exile 2 is an improvement over 1 on controller, at least. I can see that. But 4 is great. I think Diablo 4, they really cracked the code on how to play that kind of a game on controller. But again, it helps that it's a more simplified version, right? Helps that it's a somewhat more simplified version of that game. Or that kind of a game, right? Alright. So let's try to do this highlight thing. Let's fix this highlight thing. I'm definitely missing my initial playtesting event I wanted to take this game to, which is this Saturday. Blew past that in terms of being able to have something ready by then. I have another opportunity about 4 weeks from now. So tonight I'm going to be making a to-do list, and we're actually going to stick to it, and we're going to have a list of all the stuff that we need to get done in 4 weeks to actually have this be playable. I feel like I've been maybe not accidentally, just kind of naturally falling back into treating this game as more of a dream game. You know, you take the incremental progress where you can get it. You work on systems that are a little bit heavier, and it's a different approach. I think I need to get back to a more aggressive approach to this game, and part of it's a little fatigue, part of it's just running into some meatier issues. I think once we get through the last couple of meaty issues, which is one is really actions, the action systems of doing things, using the equipment that you have, and then like the AI. I think the actions and the AI are like the really big, meaty mechanical things that we need to dig into. Eventually, we might have randomized encounters might be another thing that's kind of meaty, but I'm less concerned about that at the moment. What am I even doing? Looking at the highlights, card highlights, in reaction to stuff that you're doing, right? I mean, Diablo 4, it looks good. Path of Exile 2 looks also incredible. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it partly depends on what kind of build you're going for, but yeah, I had a really good time playing Diablo 4 on controller with multiple different classes. My main class was I played a Corpse Explosion Necromancer, and that was fun. That was good stuff. I got some nice unique items that really fit into that. That was fun. That was the most fun I had playing that game. I haven't really kept up with it. I haven't played any of the DLCs or any of the, seasons or whatever. But it was fun to go through. It was fun to go through it with some friends. All right, so maybe we are looking at... We're looking at when we, like, hover over it, we're doing some stuff. Not even, though, right? So it's like this. So what is triggering this reaction in the party list? That's what I want to find out. That's probably up here. Character hovered and character hovered is not that. Character unhovered emit. Character hovered dot emit. Character fig hovered. So we're probably doing it here with the signal. We're probably receiving that signal here. On character fig hovered. Yeah, if roster tab by name has highlight dot visible. Yeah, so we want to do that on card dragged. I thought we used to be doing this, so it's kind of weird that we're having to do this again, but here we go. Yeah, here we go. Roster tab by name, character name dot highlight dot visible equals true. We have this here. Card rev, character name, character sheet by name. Is character equipment compatible? This is seemingly working, or, this should be working. Is character sheet closed doing something to, like, undo all of that work? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. That's exactly what's happening. Character sheet closed should be way at the top of this. Not at the bottom. Yeah, the number of times I'm doing something and then undoing it later, I've become very sensitive to that. Because that seems to be most of the problems that I have here. It's still not doing it. It's sending the data back. You can tell it's sending the data back because we're getting the Getting the highlights here. You know, you see that? We're gonna go like the boundary list, but it's not actually highlighting these, which it's supposed to be doing. Cluster tab by name. Character sheet by name dot has. Marks dot append. So we know this is happening because this array is getting appended to. This is being called early. So this shouldn't be affecting anything. Oh wait, we do a level set here. Wait, we don't actually turn the visibility off. Doesn't look like it. Huh. Well, now we need to go and find the thing that's calling this, which I think is the input manager. On card dragged. Card drag ended. .connect. Environment map. .card dragged. Okay, so we say marks. Party manager. .card dragged. Then we call environment map. .card dragged. So are we undoing our work in this function? What I presume is happening. Character fig unhovered .emit. This could be what's happening here. That's probably what's happening. Is this signal emit. Probably undoing it. That's the problem with having these peers that are like signaling to each other. They're forgetting. There's some context being forgotten about. Yeah. So where's this? On character fig unhovered. Roster tab dot highlight dot visible is false. Yep. So that's what's happening. So is there a way around that? Yes. The answer is yes. It's just a question of what we want to do. So we can make that part of character sheet closed, maybe? Say roster tab my name character name dot highlight dot visible equals false. What's your damage? Oh. Menu button. I think it's weird that we'll get errors for a script that's not in any scene being used by anything. Makes it kind of hard to have stuff kind of unfinished or kind of on the back burner. It's like if you're gonna give me runtime errors, don't give me a runtime error for a script that isn't actually being used by anything. All right, so we're gonna do this here. And then we'll go back to the environment map. And then we're just gonna not emit this signal, which is maybe a mistake. Might be a mistake. We're gonna see about it. Let's see if that works. Nope. It's a bit annoying. Okay. Are you doing it? What are you doing? Character fig unselected. You don't feel like working tonight? Well, then don't. It's alright to take it easy. Sometimes, you know. It is a marathon. Alright, so I think we might be doing something here. Yeah. Character fig unselected. Character sheet close. Character fig unhovered. Sheet open. What a tangled web. What a tangled web we weave. Unselect character fig. That doesn't seem like it's the problem, but you know, we'll just keep working until we find it. Card dragged. Unselect character fig. Marked figs dot clear. Round tiles append. Marked figs. Let's look back at the input manager. Card drag. Card dragged. Drag.connect. Somebody is preventing this from... So we know this is happening. Roster tab by name, character name, dot highlight, dot visible equals true. Oh, I did the wrong thing. This should say... Oh no, roster tab by name, dot highlight, dot visible equals false. Whenever character sheet closes. Actually, honestly, it should be like whenever a character sheet opens. Clear this. What if I just don't do this for now? Debugging is for daytime, yeah, true. Okay, now it works. So it highlights the characters who could take the card, which is kind of what we want. Okay, that seems to have no real consequences. Oh, here we go. This is a problem. So it doesn't remember it if we go to play it and then we move back off. And that's because the unhovered is being triggered. So the way we handled that is by adding some details to this. So let's try doing it this way. Let's say character fig hover.emit. Or character fig unhovered.emit. And then we'll go here to character fig unhovered. Yeah, I'm not pleased about the idea of having to do really any amount of video editing. I honestly might do it directly in like the YouTube studio thing that they provide, because I mainly just need to do shorts, and I don't know about devlogs, like real devlogs. I might do one or two, but so what we really need to do here is say like, if not card dragged, but that's a function. We need to say if not input. Do we keep track of the marked figs? We do not. We can say if not input manager dot card dragged. This should defend us against that particular case. How about trailers? I don't know. Yeah, I guess I need a trailer. I don't know. I'm not thinking about that very much. I also think trailers are relatively easy insofar as they don't consist of much. They consist of what, like maybe like a minute and a half of gameplay. It's just smashed together as like, I think the hard part about making a trailer is just picking the right stuff to show more than it is about editing. I don't know. I take the Derek Liu school of game trailers, which is like 60 seconds to 90 seconds, just gameplay hook stuff. No like cinematic things, no like big voiceover, whatever. Just like a simple gameplay trailer. All right, so will this work now? So if I do this, okay, no, we're back to things not working. Excellent. I actually think this doesn't work. Hey, Mr. Magoo, a whole year. Wow, it has been a year. Look at that nice platinum badge. How's it going, Magoo? Oh yeah, I was just invoking Derek Liu. That's the school of game trailer thought that I follow. Just like less is more. It's basically a glorified GIF, or it's at best maybe a multiple GIFs chained together. You're trying to time your cuts to the music. Yeah, that does sound fancy. All right, so I don't think the not does what I expect. What I need to say is if input card dragged manager is null. I don't think I can say is null, can I? I don't think Godot lets you do that. No. That would be nice. Because null is like its own type, right? Like, surely that's something one could do. Okay, well, that case works. Huh. Okay. Input manager to card dragged is null. Oh, I need to change this earlier. Do this at the top and not at the bottom. Okay. Now, just for my own edification here, if I go back, so what we just did works, but if I go back here and instead of saying if input card dragged is null, can I just say not? Because a lot of times I'll just do this as my shorthand for if this is not null. You just instead, you don't need to say that. You can just say if this is, like if it, you know, if it exists. So can I do that? Does the opposite work? That's the question. No, the answer is yes. Excellent. So yeah, you can use null value. You can use whether something is null or not as like a simple like Boolean like check, which I like. Okay. All the highlighting stuff does what I want it to do now. So that's good. And it retains it when we hover over or not. So that's good. That's what I wanted. Got our little main hand, offhand little choice, which is neat. But yeah, I want to introduce this idea of hovered, of the character being hovered. Because we kind of do this like this as a way to preview the character sheet stuff. And I kind of want to have this be like a state. So we can do this. And I want to be able to drop a card without selecting the card. Or without selecting the character. Such as this bard here. So that means not selecting a character just because we've played a card on them. That's what I'm interested in not doing. So the problem right now is that opening a character sheet is the same as selecting a character, right? Yes, that's not really what I want. And so I can remove this. And then my keyboard freaks out. So I can remove this, and this is going to have tons of consequences because I think I rely on this a lot. So we want a new concept called character hovered. Why is this the order these are in? It's also tough because you're making the trailers tough because you're adding a lot of mechanics. You'll probably have to recut the trailer a few times. Yeah, probably. Probably. You don't want to get analysis paralysis and wait too long to put up your Steam page. No. I'm not gonna have a Steam page. If it makes you feel better, I'm not gonna have a trailer when I put up my Steam page. But I don't expect really any of my traffic to my Steam page to come from Steam, so I'm not very worried about it. Like if someone goes to my Steam page, they're already going to be interested in the game because they'll have come there from one of my shorts or this devlog, this live stream. or, you know, one of a handful of other places that are still me pushing the thing. I'm going to wait and put up a trailer when I've got a lot more stuff and when I'm starting to prepare for trying to get traffic from Steam to convert into wish lists. Okay, so closing a character sheet is going to undo character selection. That's also not what we want, but I'm not going to change it yet. This is going to be an annoying refactor, but it will be good. I think that's reasonable. I don't think I'm even going to start working on audio until after this next playtest. My plan is to get a public build up, an early access build. An early access, I mean like an alpha on itch. I would love to get an early alpha build up on itch in October. And that's also my goal in terms of like having a Steam page up. It's also October. It's cutting it close. Getting a demo by the end of the year is going to be tight, but it's what we're trying to do. It's still what we're trying to do. No reason not to try to do that. Okay, so here's an interesting thing. So this character sheet thing is not changing. It's because we're not closing the character sheet, or... Oh, or is it my fault? Is there like... No. Okay, so now we're opening the character sheet, which is not causing... Character sheet close... Sheet open. So let's look at these. The on-card token added, on-card token freed, and on-card token spent. These are the drivers of behavior for us here. What we do want is when a card is dragged, we actually want to unselect whatever character we have. So we want to close the character sheet. Well, I guess that unselects for now. That's not always going to be true, but for now at least, that's going to be true. You're waiting for September to have all that up. If it's that closed a playtest, why not just do it on itch? Like to me, doing a playtest on Steam is only if you want like public participants, right? Like people you don't already know. But if it's only for people you know, you could just do it on itch. Like you could just have like, you know, a page that's like password protected or whatever. What build? You know, people can download things on itch, right? No, I think using Steam is fine. Yeah, that's reasonable. Using Steam for it's all right. I mean, you could also only have one build up on itch. That way you don't have divergent branches. But if you're trying to keep people from playing less than the most updated version, I don't think there's a way to prevent people from doing that. I don't think you can make updates mandatory on Steam. I guess maybe you can. People can still go offline or whatever. I get what you're saying, though. I get what you're saying. All right, so if we have a selected character, if this is a different character, we close the character sheet. We do all of this. We open the character sheet. With this character sheet, we do a preview. So here we would say character hovered equals character sheet by name, card name. Let's simplify this. We probably want like an probably want to do some kind of cleanup. We're gonna need like a if character hovered. Oh, by glob. Hide the code. Who is that? Oh, it's the nerds. Hey, 2 Bob. Hey, nerds. 2 nerds and 2 Bob. How's it going? Welcome to Party Wipe here. We're making a roguelike deck builder in Godot. Working on some last little UI stuff here. Having a chill Wednesday. Don't look at the code. The code is awful. Yeah, we're working on some last stuff. This doesn't close. Character sheet doesn't close now. It's good to know. We're working on some fixes. How was the stream? How's it going? How's your stuff going? Have we reclaimed the living? Hey, Airman. You're new here. How far are you in the development? Is this a commercial project? This is a commercial project. We started working on this in like June. So what is it? August? A couple months in. We're looking to have a demo out on Steam by the end of the year here. Release it sometime next year. Probably mid to late next year. Depending on what the response is. So here... So we probably need to add something to on character fig unselected. Character sheet close. You know, why isn't that Is it because we're not selecting the character anymore? Here, we could say, we could just for now duplicate this. And say if character hovered. I actually don't want this to be based on whether the character's selected or not. Hey, Tazdish, you didn't read the pop-up, you just clicked it. Oh, what did you redeem? Oh, skipped the music track. Oh, no worries. You didn't skip the music, don't worry about it. Let me refund you your points. It's easy. What are you planning to accomplish? Where's the game heading? It's a roguelike deck builder. So the idea, it's very D&D inspired. The twist in this one is that the cards are the equipment and the characters, not the verbs. So the cards are the nouns. It's going to play out on this little turn-based tactics battle map. Weird how this still doesn't close. I guess we want both of these. So the idea is there's like maybe, I think there's going to be about 15 total playable characters, all with their own abilities, equipment. The idea is that you'll do some dungeoneering, you know, you'll go through dungeon encounters, fight bosses, unlock new areas, delve deeper into the dungeon, level up your characters. So like you could level up this bard. Oh, you can't see that. I can't actually close a character sheet right now. That's one of the things we're working on here. But yeah, I can play a wizard on this wizard, and now this wizard's level 2, and they've unlocked an ability slot. So it's a deck builder predominantly, but it's also a turn-based tactics game. That's where like the verbs are expressed. This is all low-level equipment that we're starting with here. It's turn-based, so you can undo, redo freely within a given turn. Man, yeah, why doesn't this ever close? Character sheet closed. Character hovered. Character selected. Wonder if there's a way to do this a little more specifically. Or more generally, like, should I just close all of the character sheets? I could do that. I don't really need to target a specific one. That doesn't, in fact, seem to be working. You are looking great, thanks. Yeah, we're trying to finish that up. Nerds, there's a hidden twist in the game. The more you play it, the more it becomes a tile set editor with 3 dimensions. Yeah. Yep. Airman, cool. Seems nice. You'll follow the dev then. Nice. Permission to follow as much dev journeys as possible. Cool. Yeah, well, we stream usually 4 or 5 days a week. So yeah, come on back when you're not too busy watching the nerds. Oh yeah, let me give that a shout out. Thank you, nerds. Hope you have a good rest of your night here. Just 2 months of dev and all this, dang. At the end of the year, demo is gonna have a lot of stuff. One hopes. We are making life a little easier for ourselves. We've done dream games before where we do everything from scratch, but like this asset, these sprites are not mine. This is an asset pack. The font is not mine. All the UI elements and stuff, like the card design, is mine. Because UI is usually very bespoke and specific to the game, so there was really no way to do it except to make the UI myself. But yeah, we're trying to move quick. We're trying not to get bogged down in stuff that I'm not gonna say doesn't matter, but stuff that we can find a solution to that's not necessarily us doing everything ourselves. Like we're using a card plugin to handle the movement and arrangement of cards. It's very helpful. We're using asset packs. There's a lot of stuff you can do to try to keep yourself from, you know, spending a year and a half working on a block tile editor. I don't know who's done that. Certainly not me. All right, take it easy, nerds. Hey, Fender, there you are. How's it going? All right, so why does the character sheet just never close now under like any circumstance? That's the mystery that I need to solve here. This is the problem with disconnecting something. I think the only thing I disconnected was I changed this. So just opening a character sheet doesn't really guarantee what we're doing. kind of need to do that part separately. So I think that's the problem. I think we need to go through the different invocations of character sheet open and closed. And get a little more specific about this. Character sheet, character sheet equip page, character sheet visible, true. So we pass in a character sheet here. What we should have to do. So if I do this, character sheet open, hovered, character hovered. Okay, that's good. That's what we want. That's what we want to see. Let's keep going. Character sheet opened. This is on-card token added. Okay, let's finish the rest of these, because clearly I just didn't finish this. Oh, we're also in ads. Hold on to your ads. Character hovered equals character sheet on tile. Character sheet open, character hovered. Character hovered, preview, equipment page. I mean, so we're invoking character sheet open. Okay, we character sheet close up here, so that's okay. Okay, and then on card token freed, we want to do some character sheet close. So closing a character sheet shouldn't necessarily do anything like unselecting a character, the way we've now written it. Character sheet, card token spent. So what we want to do is we want to close the character sheet. Okay, so character sheet can handle the hovered part and the selected part. I don't know if it wants to do either, but maybe that's what we want to do. Okay. When the card drop fails, that's at least doing something for us. So that's good. So why is this not working? If character hovered is acting, hovered visible dot false. Hovered is null. On card dragged, we'd kind of want character hovered. Well, we want to do... No, we just want to close the sheet and undo all of that there. Okay. So on card token freed, what we should be seeing here... Oh, here we go. Now we want elif character hovered. Character hovered dot update display. Character sheet close. That should help. I don't love the duplication here, but this will help. Hey, QRT, how's it going? You're asking me how it's going? Oh, it's going good. It's going good. We're working on some small but important stuff, I consider. Okay, okay. Character sheets are opening and closing again. Great. Okay, not on click though. Hey, Airman, can you talk about the architecture of the code? How are you managing assets? With resources or nodes? Are you using a monolithic UI update or stuff like that? Sure. The architecture sucks. It's mostly non-existent. We've been kind of working on this game as like treating it kind of like as a jam game. So we've tried to avoid doing too much serious work on like architecture. We try to just favor getting stuff functional and working, but we can talk a little bit about it. So everything kind of has two different aspects. There's the aspect of the figures on the board. I should just close all character sheets when I do that. So nothing is going to fix that at the moment. So yeah, there's the aspect of the character on the board. There's the aspect of the characters in the UI. And then there's the aspect of like the characters as the cards. The cards are all resources. We actually use a pretty neat plugin called Yard, yet another resource database, which makes it really easy to manage these card resources. So each card is a resource. It's got all of these configuration issues or configuration data. Like how is it displayed? What are its stats? What's the layout of the card? What are all the icons? It's really nice. Other stuff like what proficiencies you need to use it. That's been helpful, doing it via resource. It's pretty much controlled entirely by signaling. There is only one, you said a monolithic UI update. There's really only one monolithic, what I consider a pretty monolithic update, which is there's a single process function in the environment map, which is the tile map layer, that listens for input. Just because I would love to do the game completely with signals, but due to some UI layering stuff with the card plugin we use, that's not possible. So we have one big typical branching if-else statement that handles player input on the tile map layer. And then everything else is like event-based signals stuff. Because I like that. Yard is cool. I like Yard. Yard has been very helpful. I was originally trying to do this with spreadsheets. Oh, hey, McNeil Gaming. Over on the YouTube. You are a solo dev. You have 3 projects you're working on. That is crazy. I'm a one project at a time kind of guy. I cannot have more than one project going at a time. I would have a hard time, but I salute you. I have to burn out on one project at a time. That's what I gotta do. Airman, it may sound like a joke, but knowing it's just a wing it approach is useful for you. Like you're always fighting yourself. And you love that. You're planning on using Yard and see its resource base is pretty cool. Yeah, resources are nice. If you've got a lot of discrete elements of data that don't really change, they're like stable and they're shared across a lot of things that use them. Your resources are great. This is actually the first game I've made heavy use of resources. But for a card game, it makes a lot of sense, right? But yeah, I definitely get in trouble. Like our whole like everything has different aspects between the UI and the stuff on the board and everything. There's definitely a lot of coordination and a lot of you can get some like crossed signals and stuff like that. It can be tough. So what were we doing? We're trying to close the rest of we've got some gaps that we've introduced and we're trying to close the rest of them. I kind of want to just close them outright. I didn't write these as elifs, did I? I wrote them as ifs, right? If, yeah, okay. So the fact that we don't do this is probably causing us some trouble. Commented that out. We were definitely having a problem with selection not working correctly. So if character selected... Ah, yeah. So it kind of sucks that we're doing this as character hovered and character selected. We're having to duplicate a lot, but, you know, it will probably be fine. We'll probably continue to need to find some of this stuff. Yeah, the giant if else branch for input is like, that's kind of always how you end up processing input, but my compromise has been that I only do that in one place at least, because I hate that. I hate having process functions running all the time, and then you're always listening for stuff. I love signals. Signals are so good in Godot. I love doing stuff that's turn-based. I love doing stuff that's signal-based. I love that pattern. I love that more event-oriented pattern. All right, so now when we click... Okay, so when we click, we open, but when we unclick, we do not close. And that's because we are not selecting the character, so it's never going to close. So on character fig selected. So we got to do all of this stuff. We got to say variable character sheet. It's a character sheet. And it equals character manager.get character sheet. We'll open the character sheet, and then we will mark it as selected. What kind of stuff are you working on, Airman? Do you like onReady in this case? Why not using unique names on the nodes versus export variables? I do use a lot of unique names. Unique names are good for things that are stable. Unique name breaks on stuff that's getting instantiated because it's cached or whatever. Unique names are good for referring to things within a stable scene. It's not super good for stuff that's, you know, like something that gets instantiated into the scene won't be able to find the unique name for some reason. There's a lot of weird stuff that happens when you start talking about instantiation and unique names. But onReady variables are good. You can just get in trouble sometimes with initialization order. Like an autoload can't have an onReady variable because the autoloads load before everything else, right? Like... So if you're trying to refer to something from an auto load, it can be tough. You can't really go down. You have to go up, back up. There's a lot of tedious stuff. But yeah, I prefer... I don't know what I prefer. It's situational. Signals are great. Yeah, I honestly, the reason we're using uniques here, I would prefer not to be referring to a lot of stuff like this. Like, I'd rather just connect a signal and not actually have to call the node. But we have a serialization system that is like recursive. So it goes like down the tree from like the save manager at the top. And it goes down, and each node is responsible for calling serialize on its children. And it's just kind of easier to refer to them by unique names. Yeah, I think it's a little silly when like every node is a unique name. Hey, Fusionist, how's it going? Oh, it's good. How are you doing? Yeah, signals are good for like graceful failure, LSG. It can be kind of tricky to be like, where's the graceful failure happening? But And then for me, where I have these peers that are signaling to each other, anytime I get incorrect behavior, I'm like, there's a signal being sent out after this other thing that's causing the work that I just did to be undone by this other thing. Like I always know that that's exactly the cause every time. So character figure unhovered, if not character null. I think this needs to have then close character sheet, close. We're going to start opening character sheets when we hover over characters, which is going to be interesting. I think that's going to be cool. Now that we're distinguishing between selection and hovering, it should give us a little bit more options. Okay, so now we have character sheet opens and close on hover. That's a little nice. The reason we're doing this is to distinguish your intention a little bit more. So like if you click on a thing, you're going to be in move act mode. You're going to like start moving and acting. I don't like this flicker. Oh, because it's closing. I'll fix that. But what we want to do is we don't want to go into move mode just because we played a card. And that's causing us to have to introduce this additional state. Like, I don't want to necessarily enter move mode just because I played a card on someone. Chillin', you came up with a deck and card building rule set. You're tinkering with it. Ooh, I want to hear more about that at some point. I've been struggling about some of the more card buildy aspects of this game, about how I want it to work. I wanted to do a lot more card drafting, like especially at the beginning. But I think what I want to do instead is give you the opportunity, both at the beginning of the game and maybe further on in the game, probably at shops, to buy card packs, where you can be like, I want a Bard card pack, and it gives you like some number of Bard hero cards, like the units, and it gives you some number of Bard abilities and equipment of like whatever, you know, of a randomized rarity. But I think I want to do card packs instead of like drafting. I still want to give players the opportunity to like select cards at the end of combat. Like I'll still do the thing of like you beat a combat encounter and you can pick one of like 3 cards or something. But I think I want to bundle stuff together more so that you're not like drafting individual cards so often. Because it would suck if you had to start the game, you had to like draft like 40 cards. That would be a real bummer in terms of pacing. I like the randomness. You can be like, oh, I really need some ranger gear, but I'm not guaranteed to get exactly the ranger gear I want. It's like a bit of a crapshoot. That's kind of what I want. Fender, you're learning a bit of Java. Nice. Java's cool. I admit I haven't done much Java per se. I've done a bit of JavaScript. Okay, I don't love that flickering, but there's not much I can do if someone insists on going catty corner here. Okay, so we're getting character sheets on hover. I like that. What I really want is... No, I guess what we don't want is the equivalent this way. Actually, do I even want this? I might not want this. I actually don't think I want this. I don't want to open the character sheet just because you hovered over a character. Unless you did it with a card. If you did it with a card, I want it to happen. So let's change that. So on character fig hovered. Yeah, forget this. We don't want to do this. We do need to set character hovered. Oh. It's a little unintuitive the way I'm thinking about this. Okay, that's fine. Let's try it. Yeah, we don't want to necessarily do that just because we are hovering over a character. It's pretty rough to design the cards, especially as they get complex. Yeah, luckily my cards are simple for now, but they do have big lists of tags that I need to add of like, oh, a claymore is gonna, or a bow is gonna have the reloading tag. So like, well, maybe not the splintered longbow, but maybe like a crossbow would have like the reloading tag. So even if you had 2 actions, you couldn't fire your crossbow twice or something like that. You know, Rusted Dagger is light, so it can be used in either hand. Okay, what's this error that keeps coming up here? If character hovered, character sheet by name, character... Oh, well, that would be it. So we do want this. When I drop this. Oh, the card failed. Card failed to play. And yet we have the icon. Yeah, here's I don't think I need to call it it's not really hovered. And it's also not really focused either. I need a new word. I need a different word. We'll use the hovered word for now, but I need a different way. Because it's not about you whether you're hovered over the character or not. It's about this kind of in-between state where you haven't selected the character, but their character sheet is open because you've played a card on them. Or maybe I'll call it character played or something like that. All right, so character card token spent, there's a failure occurring here. And it's because we are not selecting the character when we... So here we're saying LF card res is equipment card res and a character selected. I'm going to call it character expanded is what I'm going to call it. Because that's what we're interested in. We're interested in if we've expanded the character to view them. And that's the additional state we're talking about, beyond just the character selected or they're not selected. And that's the additional state I want to operate on, is if the character sheet has been expanded. we can treat it different. Semi-played. That's interesting. Thanks for the answers on the code logic you're following. Very educational. Yeah, calling it code logic would be a stretch, but I've done different projects in Godot. This is my, we're still working towards my first commercial release here. So I'm no expert, but I've done quite a few jam games in Godot. I've worked on some dream games in Godot, which tend to have very different code architecture. I've gotten very serious about code architecture in my previous project. So serious, we ended up writing our own little entity component system and a bunch of nonsense that we arguably could have not spent time on, but I like Godot for small games. Godot, the structure of GDScript and the way Godot works is so nice for small games. It works for big games. You have to be a lot more careful about what you're doing. But I've come around to the school of like, just do what works for now and then fix it later. It sucks. It's one of those, what's the phrase? There's like a phrase where it's like, it's about how programmers would rather spend like 2 weeks working on something than spend 2 hours thinking about it first. LSG, you don't know, you're not a programmer. That's the attitude. That's the right attitude. I don't think of myself as a programmer either. I think of myself as a game dev, if anything. All right, so why did the character sheet close all of a sudden? Oh, and why is this being weird? Okay, lots of weird things are occurring. That's fine. Why does the character sheet close as soon as we start moving the cursor? Oh, because we're moving off of the character fig. Oh, damn. Okay. Yeah, that's what's happening. So we need to not do that. Not do that. Okay, that's stable now, which is good. Okay, card drops are still not working. Card drops are still breaking. So let's fix that. Let's finish the 3. The big 3 for the party roster are these on-card token added, on-card token freed, and on-card token spent signal. I don't know what you call the function that a signal is connected to. The callback, I guess. Callable. Receiver. I guess the receiver would be better. The receiving function. Or callable, or however you want to refer to that. Airman, after years of doing stuff, you come to an axiom for yourself. You'll never ever do the architecture of anything when starting. You will do it halfway finishing when you actually need it. I think that's reasonable. Refactoring is unavoidable. I think that's wise. I think that's wise. You can definitely find yourself in a bind if you try to do it too late. It just becomes like more expensive the longer you wait. But yeah, I generally agree with you. I've given up on the idea that I can pre-plan the vast majority of what I'm doing. I pre-plan almost none of it. think I'd be maybe slightly more effective if I did pre-plan more of it. Okay, so what we need to do here is we need to say on card tournaments. So our problem is that LF card res is equipment card res and character selected. We need to change this. Card token, else character selected is character sheet by name, characters. So we're gonna say character if not character sheet by name has. We're gonna not do this character selected thing anymore. Instead, we're gonna say character expanded. We can say LF character expanded just for safety. Although if that fails, I don't know what we're supposed to do. So here we just need to make sure the character expanded is being set. Which it's not. Oh no, here. Character expanded, character expanded, character expanded. Yeah, okay, cool. This is how nasty some of this signaling gets. I have to like await another signal. So I know it's coming. And I know it's going to reset what I'm trying to do here. Hey, Andre. Do you have a page for the game? Not yet. Probably in a couple of months. We've only been working on this since June, about. So we're still early days, but I hope to have a Steam page up. Probably sometime in October. I hope to also have maybe an early alpha build that's playable on itch. People can try it. But thanks for hanging out. Thanks for stopping by. We live stream this all the time. Can we drop cards now? Yes. Okay. So what we need to stop doing is selecting a character just because we dropped a card. That's what we need to stop doing. What if we drop a unit card? Same thing. Planning is helpful, yeah. There's a cliche that says planning. No, it says a plan, like a plan, is useless, but planning is essential. And I subscribe to that theory. You should definitely spend time planning. But whatever plan you come up with is not going to survive contact. It just won't. But yeah, planning is essential. Yes, you wanted to understand the core mechanics. Oh yeah, hell yeah. It's a roguelike deck builder. The idea is that you have a party of adventurers. Your cards are your party. So they're your characters, they're your characters' equipment, and you play them onto this turn-based tactics little battle map. So you try to go through a series of, procedural dungeon encounters, trying to reach the end of the dungeon with, some of your party still alive. You can thin your deck by leveling up your characters and their equipment and their abilities. Their abilities are also cards. So like I can play this wizard onto this wizard card and it will level up to level 2. So now I've got a level 2 wizard, which amongst other things, one of their ability slots has now unlocked. So they can now cast an ability available. I think I'm going to do a thing where you can't equip a character. Like if we had a level 3, I don't know, dagger, I think the only character that would be able to equip it would be your level 3 wizard. I think I want to gate equipment and that stuff behind levels, because I think otherwise you're like not super motivated to level up the characters. Get a level 2 knight. Okay, but the thing I want to fix right now is I want to stop this trend of just because you played a card on a character. Now you're like moving the character, like you've automatically selected the character. I want to turn this off. I want to turn this off. Where is this happening is my question. Like, where are we doing that? It's not in character sheet open because we turned that off. It's not in the character sheet added signal, I don't think. Like, where is that happening? Card token spent. Is it here? Is like character fig. So let's go through. Let's go through the steps here. Let's go back to the environment map. Actually, yeah, maybe. Let's double check here. So let's say card token spent. .emit card token.queue_free. This is card dropped. I don't think we would do it from here, but we might be doing this from the input manager. Hey, Ving. Plans are not plans. Plans are goals. That's a good way to think about it. That's a good way to think about it. It's like somewhere where you want to get to. All right, card dropped. Environment card dropped. Card drag is null. Yeah, we don't do this. When are we doing this? I guess there's one way to find out. Hey, first time chatter, McNeil came over from the YouTube to the Twitch. I appreciate that. Thank you for artificially inflating my viewership stats. Yeah, the discussion is definitely livelier over on the Twitch, but I don't mind. Whatever your preferred viewing experience is. What are we dungeoning in the game? What is the goal? Your goal is to just get out of the dungeon, to just get all the way through. It's very pegged on like D&D. So at the beginning, it's a roguelike, so the idea is to just get through a run, to survive to the end of the run. I have ideas about how to structure that in a way that's engaging. I don't want to give too much away. But there will be a series of branching paths where you can kind of pick what you can do. And some of those branches might be closed off to you because you don't have access to the right character or you haven't accomplished the right thing in the game yet. Yeah, exactly, McNeil. You gotta make progress. Yeah, no worries, Wing. Those who are on YouTube, I appreciate you on YouTube. I also watch it. I also keep an eye on the chat, so I see you. I see you over on the YouTube. I don't mind. All right, character selected. We're just gonna trace this. We're gonna trace this variable because someone is selecting this and I don't know where. Not here. Not here. This is where we used to do it, which is where I'd expect. Not here. Not here. Not here. It must be here, right? Here, let's see if this fires. This must be when it's happening. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Interesting. That's a bit of a problem. But it's only a bit of a problem. We can work around that. Because I actually don't want this to fire at this junction. So here we have select character fig. Select character fig is being fired off. Probably up here under if input.card dragged. This is where we do all our token stuff. Where are we checking for input, like select? let's just look. Select character fig. Just trace this. Unhelpful that I also have unselect character fig. Here we go. Yeah, okay, here. Well, this is if in the deployment phase. Input dot. If map zone has point and not was card dropped. Okay. The and not was card dropped thing should be helping us here, but seemingly not. Maybe we're not setting that correctly. Was card dropped is true on card drop. Oh no, we're calling select character fig right here. That's why. That is why. Let's stop doing that. I think that might annoy some people, but it's closer to my preferred your one yourself. Yeah, what kind of other projects are you working on, McNeil? You said you have 3, right? That's crazy. As a solo dev, that's wild. I understand the like I get tired of working on one thing, so I go work on something else. For me personally, I just have to like go ham on one project at a time. It increases the pressure a little bit because if I stop working on one thing to start working on another thing, I have to be really sure. I think I got around that impulse for a while by just doing game jams, because game jams would let me like kind of do whatever I wanted for like, you know, for like a weekend. And it would let me kind of express that a little bit of like the other stuff I wanted to do. But I've sworn off game jams while I work on this because we're really just trying to get something done. Oh, back on YouTube. There you are. 2 of them are 3D games. One is a crossover between Mario and Zelda. Oh, that sounds like a wild crossover. Zario. Melda. LSG, you're really itching to work on something else? Yeah, I know you have an issue with that. You think it's a good thing because you're super motivated to get your current project done. Yeah, I think that's dangerous, but it's also good. It's strong motivation. I think it maybe does cause the risk of like, you know, potentially making the wrong decision just to get something done, but I believe. You're being way more committed than I am. Like you've got a release date figured out. I'm not willing to go that far. All right, so we drop a card. Interesting. So we dropped the card. We did what we wanted. We need to clean up the selection outline, the bound tiles. Okay, so it's okay if I select this for me to now be in this mode. But yeah, okay, we've achieved our goal of not selecting the character just from playing a card on them. And that's really what I wanted to achieve. We need to clean this up, though. So when would we do that? Probably at the end of card dropped here. We probably say, so marked figs dot clear. We'll say bound tiles dot clear. That should handle that. Hey, Rhiannon. It's gonna be called The Adventures of Jeff. I like that. The name of Jeff. Oh, look at all these ranger cards. I drew all the ranger cards. Let's just drop some ranger cards. Yeah, okay. And then if I undo, we got the ranger card back. I can still select the character. I can select them either from the party list or from the board. Okay, I like that. I like all that behavior. So if I play a ranger card, the ranger levels up. If I play 2 more ranger cards, level up, and the ranger levels up again. This isn't the balanced numbers I want. I wonder if there should be some kind of on the board representation of like, hey, this character is like kind of, the character sheet's expanded. I don't know. I'm actually not sure. Like we have this. Maybe we could just leave that indicator. I kind of don't like that there's nothing on the board. What if I just left this? It seems like there would be consequences to that, but let's consider it. So if I leave this... I don't know, maybe? Maybe there should be some indicator. We use this dotted line for the hover. We use the selection thing for when it's selected. We use this for like where you can place a card, so I don't necessarily want to use that same iconography, but maybe there should be something that we leave behind when you play a card on a character. I don't know if this is necessarily it, because then if we go, maybe. I don't know. No, I get it, McNeil. It's a wise decision. I definitely like the idea of leaving something behind, some kind of indicator. Yeah, it can't be this. It would need to be something else. It could just be the selected tile. I think that could be fine. It shouldn't be this, though. It would need to be something else. You would say something like selection, not selection layer. We'd want to say like the focused layer, maybe focus tiles, dot set cell, cursor map, 0, focus tile. Let's see if I like this. We'll consider this as an alternative. Airman, your goal right now is to make an LLC in the US if Steam does not take 30% of your earnings. I hate to break it to you, Steam will take 30% of your earnings no matter what. An LLC might help you with taxes, but Steam will take 30% of your sales no matter what organizational structure your company is. Oh, you meant 60%? Yeah, so yeah, your tax situation might be different for sure. Okay, the thing that I tried to do here didn't work, but that's probably because we're clearing the layers. We're probably clearing the layers very often. I'm okay with it. We're just going to be okay with it. If I like later, I can try to come up with something, but we're already doing the thing that I want to do, which is we're not automatically selecting the character just because we played a card on them, which I think is exactly what I want. If you want to move, then you can just click them and then you can just move. That is kind of what I want. And then if you equip like an item, That doesn't necessarily mean you're in combat. You still haven't selected anybody. You know who it is because there's a very clear... I mean, there's an argument to maybe try to do this one. To do this kind of... To do this thing. I don't know if I were to do that, how do I prevent that from just being erased? I think that's going to be tough. Let's check the was card dropped branch. In-depth phase. Cursor tiles.clear. Focus tiles.clear. So focus tiles we're not actually clearing very often. So that should work. If map zone has cursor map and not was card dropped. Yeah. So why didn't that work? Else. Clear all tile outlines. You know what? Someone is probably calling this. Card dragged. Deserialize. Clear all tile outlines. Oh, maybe not. Focused. Tiles. Party tab hover. Clears focus tiles. Okay. Sure. What else clears focus tiles? That case is fine. That case is fine. That case is fine. Fine. Yeah, that's a little weird. We're going to try that again because I don't actually understand what's happening here. Card dropped. Yeah, maintaining an LLC is about, in California, the fees and everything to the franchise tax board is about $1,000 a year, a little less. Yeah, why doesn't this actually do the thing I'm expecting? Oh, you know what it probably is? It's probably clearing as soon as I move away. That's what's happening. Okay, so we would need a different layer, or we would need to change the rules. About the selection thing. I'm okay with it. Let's not get bogged down on that. I see why that's not sticking, and I'm okay with it. Oh, we can also remove this, and this, and this. Unless it needs to be cleared before we emit. Who listens to card drop failed? Probably just you. Card drop failed. Huh. Okay. Alright, well, we know there's some problems still here. Yeah, that's not bad, actually, if that's all it costs. Yeah, for us, it's just... I'm not even talking about the cost to pay, like, a person to manage it. It's just the fee that you're expected to pay the franchise tax board. In California, it's like $900. So I would double-check what you owe the government just for having an LLC. where you're thinking about registering. It makes sense that certain states it probably is like basically free. States kind of compete for that sort of thing. They try to get you to register in their state. So some states probably have made that calculation where they're like, we won't charge much of a franchise fee, but we'll just make it back in taxes or something. But yeah, it's all big scary stuff. Eventually, you want the LLC just for the liability protection more than anything else. Yeah, I want some kind of feedback. I want something on the board to tell you, hey, like, this character sheet is open. And I don't know what that would be. And I don't really want to think about it right now. But we've accomplished the goal for the first part of the stream here, which was just to have this additional state. Object of type nil. Well, how did we get here? How did we get here? Character sheet. Character expanded, null. So interesting thing here. So we got to this branch because character expanded was not null. And then as we came down here, it became null. Probably around here. But possibly here. But likely around here. Environment map dot character fig selected. What would that do? This is tough. We're clearing this variable when we receive this signal, but we're trying to use it here. Why did that used to work? It used to not be a problem, which means we used to not do it in this order. Or more specifically, this function did not handle that. I have to start enforcing the two-handed weapon rule here. We're not doing that currently. So now I'm not getting this error, though. Oh. One card token spent. This is misfiring. This is firing in a weird time. Yeah, this track is good. By Zircon. Yeah, it should be fine. But yeah, you definitely want to get that in place before you start selling something publicly. So we have this weird state where if we go into this mode, so if we have a character sheet expanded open and we click on someone else, no, that's not it. I'm trying to recreate this exact error. It's a little weird. Okay, so let's give someone a grenade. And then let's click. If we click them, we're fine. But let's give them another grenade. And if we click someone else, we crash. So that's fascinating. Because we're in on-card token spent. So we're here, and we're here. Select character fig. Character fig selected dot emit. And now we're here all of a sudden. This isn't even the same function. Select character fig. Character fig selected dot emit. Okay, character fig selected dot emit is doing something wonky. Because it's not even, this isn't even the right function. Let's go down to character fig emit. Character fig selected. Character sheet open, character sheet close. Yeah, what the heck? How is this firing? Oh, we're awaiting this signal. Are you literally? Oh, snap. Okay. Let's take that emit out of here then. I think we changed the behavior of the character fig selected so we don't actually need to await anymore. Let us hope that's true. Something else is going to break now, but that's fine. Oh, like having a corporate representative like that, like an agent like that, that is good. That's a good thing to have if you're not represented in that area. Or if you aren't physically present in the area that you are... Yeah, you can get that. That's nice. They'll handle, like, all your correspondence, receiving your correspondence at least. Pretty good. I forget the technical term for that. You're going to set up an LLC if you get 1K wish lists. I think I would just do it if I was selling. If I was selling the game. Because, yeah, for me, it's a liability thing. That's really what you want an LLC for. Like, obviously this wouldn't happen, but what if you got, like, caught up in some kind of crazy, like, game refund scam thing? Like, let's say you put out a game that was, like, less than 2 hours, and people become aware that you can play the whole game in, like, less than 2 hours. Or maybe that's not the important part. Like, what if you get, you know, what if someone decides that they're going to do money laundering through your game by buying it with stolen credit card information and then applying for refunds or something, you know, something crazy. And let's say that absolutely tanks you financially and puts you at risk of bankruptcy. It's nice if that's an LLC, right? That's a bit of an outlandish example, but that's one of the reasons why if you're going to sell something publicly, it's maybe a good idea to get an LLC first. And also, if you start talking to a publisher, pretty much every publisher is going to require you to have an LLC because they need to know that you've made all the correct, like, assignments of intellectual property and stuff like that. You'd be surprised how little liability Steam shoulders compared to you, probably, but that was just an example. That was just an example. Like, what if your game has a flashing light sequence and someone sues you for damages because they suffered from, like, an epileptic seizure? It's just nice to have an LLC because it puts a limit on the maximum amount of liability that you can suffer. It's just nice. It's just nice. But I agree with you. You need to make a certain amount of money before it makes sense monetarily. All right, will this work now? Does this just work? Okay, this just works. We don't need to do that horribly gross signal await thing we were doing before. I like that. We need to do something. Maybe we should just mark it as selected. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about this. Play a card onto a character and it doesn't actually do anything. It's what I want, because I don't want you to necessarily be like put into action mode just because you played a character on somebody. But I would love for there to be some kind of visual feedback to doing it. I'll try. Yeah, what if your game is so good that people get addicted to it? You know, they sue you for ruining their lives. Okay, well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I want to do about the you played a card on this guy. I would like to have some kind of feedback about it. I haven't figured out what. So I'm just going to take the win. We're going to take the win. We did the thing that I wanted to do. I kind of don't mind this idea that your hand isn't dealt until after you deploy, but I think that's kind of rough. I think that could lead to some really rough scenarios where, like, let's say you enter the next combat and you have like one character left and they're like super wounded and you're like, I'm just going to die turn one. If you don't get your cards until turn one, then you can't do anything during the deployment phase to like prepare. I think it would be nice for you to be able to prepare a little. So like you draw your card hand and you won't be able to use abilities or anything during the deployment. I'm gonna have to find a way to communicate that somehow. It's like you can move, but you can't act. Although maybe you... Should I let you act? Maybe I let you act. I don't know. But if I let you act, I should probably put some other constraints. I'll probably do a thing where it marks like actions like 0. And maybe moves will be shown as infinite. Or something like that. Only during deployment, though. I do want to go back to having there be like a highlight around the button, around these sections when you're in move or act mode. I'd like to go back to that. But yeah, like if you select your hammer or whatever, you can't do anything with your... But it's like, I don't know, should you be able to cast a spell to like heal one of your buddies in the deployment phase? I don't think so. Because then that's like a free turn for like the whole party. Every combat encounter. And you know what? Maybe that's okay, actually. Like, maybe that's fine. Maybe that could be a reward for, like, ambushing someone or something. I am unsure. Unsure what I want to do. But we are pretty much ready to say, okay, you're done with the deployment phase. Let's go into battle. We still can't do anything because we're not generating enemies or whatever. See, there's nothing meaningful that you can do. But now we can start setting up like actions and things like that. That's the idea. Sprites are bought. Yeah, this is the Pixel-like 2 sprite set from itch.io. That's where I pretty much get all my assets. All right, what do I want to try to do now? Deserialize. We probably need to add something to deserialize. Oh no, unless we continue to just have character sheet close, clean these up, which is reasonable. Should character sheet open, set character expanded? It probably should, huh? Let's not do this. Let's keep it simple. Okay, well that's simple. Let's go back to character sheet, open, and we'll just change this to be character expanded equals character sheet. You plan on changing them eventually? No. Only if someone comes out with like a breakout hit using these assets and it becomes obvious that, you know, everyone already associates them with another game. And there's other games that use these assets, but nothing that I would consider a breakout hit. No, I don't plan on switching out the assets. We're gonna make this game pretty much entirely without assets. I did the UI, and that's already taken like 2 months. I'm not trying to make a bunch of other stuff. I'll probably do some post-processing. I'll probably set up some post-processing. Or if someone makes a breakout hit using your assets, you'd be so mad. Well, don't put your assets up on itch if you're making a game with them. Wait until after you've made the game. You're an artist before you're a programmer. You can find yourself using bot assets. I like pixel art. I've done pixel art for other projects of mine. I enjoy it. I'm not amazing at it, but I'm okay. I am slow. That's a consideration. Part of the reason I stopped working on my last project was I was doing everything myself. I intended on doing all the sound. I was doing all the art. And it was a game that was going to take, 6 to 8 years to make. And I decided I didn't want to take 6 to 8 years to make my game. So I'm just about cutting stuff out that I don't have to do myself. Because solo dev is already hard enough. Okay, we got a mace and a buckler. So we're kind of, there's really no getting around this. I need to start working on the items here. These items. Gotta work on these items. But yeah, we need to come up with starter packs for these cards and then some booster packs too. We also need to make some armor cards. I haven't actually made the armor cards, but it's a relatively minor consideration. Undo redo is working fine. That's good. I'm always worried that I unintentionally break something. Let's work on scene transition stuff, I guess. Not scene transition, turn transition. So one thing we need is we need to... I don't know if I want to change the end turn button. So we have another texture we can use. Yeah, I can't do any 3D art. I can do a little bit of pixel art. That's what kind of got me more comfortable using assets, was doing a 3D art, finding 3D art for game jams. And then doing like a bunch of stuff to manipulate them to make them like look good and cohesive. Where's the button I made for this? Did I actually make the textures for it? I made a 2 battle button. I thought I did at least. Could have sworn I did. To battle. Yeah, I did. It's here. What is this? 130? Is it exactly the same size as the end turn button? Because I hope it is. 130. Yeah, it is. Sick. So yeah, what we can do is we can just substitute this in for the end turn. Let's do that. So this is going to need a... Now we can make this button a little more contextual. End turn button script, that, add some export variables, end turn button normal, export variable, end turn button hover. I guess hover would go first if we're doing this alphabetically. Export variable end turn button pressed. We also need focused. End turn button focused. Oh, F is before H, huh? Do the same thing with the 2 battle buttons. 2 battle. Interesting how that takes the same space. Must be the T's and the L. It's just more compressed. Oh, I should probably tell them what kind of variable this is. You've been kicking around the idea of building a DIY mocap studio. Look at you should look a little bit. There's probably a GDC talk. Oh, I know there's a GDC talk about it because I was there. I saw it. But there was this great GDC talk about Harold Halibut. And it's really funny to watch because they have footage of the art director for that game doing all of the mocap for like every character, and they just did it all in their like dining room. They did it all in one room, just themselves. That's pretty cool. They ended up using a lot of photogrammetry for that game, where they made the claymation versions of all the characters and then they scanned them in and they animated them digitally. Man, that game is beautiful. All right, so we have all of our variables. Let's plug these in. Actually, I need to make these ones, huh? Create a new resource. battle. That's it for those. Yep. Okay. Plug these in here. Then we can swap them out. Where's the end turn button? Oh, I don't have them. How am I defining these then? End turn button. Oh no, I do. Where are you? Where are you? Probably out here somewhere. Yeah, there you are. Yeah, I wouldn't. Because then you'd have to check that box. You have to check that AI disclosure box, and if you don't, and you use it, and people find out, punishment is very severe. Which I think is good. I actually love that the Steam audience is that harsh about that stuff. Hey, Matchless Soap, thank you for the follow. Why doesn't this one have an icon? All the other ones get little icons. This one doesn't for some reason. Oh, it's because I didn't define a maximum size. Interesting. But yeah, I love seeing that. I love seeing people just come down on games that have undisclosed generative AI use. I forgot what the most recent case of that was I saw, but it was brutal. It felt good. All right, take it easy, Airman. We'll be back tomorrow, and well, probably tomorrow, and Friday and Saturday. Tomorrow's a little up in the air, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to be on tomorrow. And the thing that was occupying my Friday is gone now, has been removed, so I will definitely be on Saturday. Did I say Saturday? Saturday. Saturday's good. But yeah, we normally do this 5 days a week, so you'll see us. You'll see us around. Yeah, it was some other game that disclosed the code, but didn't disclose the assets. And then people found AI-generated assets in the game files, and they got in a lot of hot water. I don't remember what game it was. I don't feel the need to call out a specific game, but I love to see it. And by I love to see it, I mean I love to see games just getting punished absolutely for that, especially undisclosed usage of it. But I love that the market has basically voted with their wallet. It kind of undercuts everyone's argument that like you need to use AI to like be able to build your assets efficiently enough. And it's like nobody wants it. Nobody wants it. Consumers have spoken and nobody wants it. So why would you use a tool whose product is unusable? Because no one will buy it knowingly. The important part is knowingly, which is why a lot of people are upset that Steam has a mandatory disclosure. But Steam has a lot of problems, but one thing they're pretty good at is they are very good at advocating for the consumer. They are very good at having consumer-friendly advocacy. And so I do applaud them for that. Thanks, Gaben. So we might as well just start with the to battle button being the button set up probably. We need to have the behavior be different depending. What did I just grab? No. Yeah, it's a real shame. I think people are doing that where they're recasting a lot of their tools as quote unquote AI assisted, even though the thing they're doing sounds like something you could do with like traditional machine assisted stuff. Like nobody gets upset at like machine translation or like more legacy applications of machine learning. There's a fine line somewhere, and I don't know where it is. Well, it's hard to say whether it's a bad business move, LSG, because the only way you can get investor funding right now is to say that you're working on some kind of AI thing. So they might have the problem where they have difficulty selling it later. But if your choices are, liquidate or do that, it's tough. I understand the businesses that are like, it's the only way to get money. But, you make your bed, you gotta lie in it. I say don't generate where you eat. That's what I say. All right, I changed some stuff. So this says to battle now, but this just says... Now this says next turn. Should this say something different than next turn? You could say like, I am ready instead of next turn. And then I could use this as a more generic prompt than a specific turn-based prompt. It would have a Y in it, which I don't really want. I guess next turn is probably fine, because that's accurate. But the thing is, we need the behavior to be different, because you're going to draw your hand going into the deployment phase. But once you go into battle... Once you go into battle, you're just going to draw one additional card, and then you're going to be forced to discard down to 6, which I need an interface for doing that, for forcing you to discard down at the end of a turn. I don't have an interface for that. I'm going to force you to not be able to have, you're not going to be able to end a turn with more than 6 cards in hand. Prevent that. Oh, yeah, I agree, LSG. I need an interface for selecting from a limited set of cards. I also need an interface for displaying an expansive set of cards. So what we're doing currently is we have like, I'm just using a line shape, which is a little rough because like when you have this many cards, it just becomes totally useless. It also doesn't block inputs really. I mean, it does over here. I need a grid. We need to turn this into a grid. The problem is it's not a scrollable grid, and I basically need to make a custom card viewer mode that we can use for like a large number of cards, or, you know, even if we have a small number of cards like this. I basically need a card viewer. And I have to decide how much space I have for it and how many cards I think I can fit on one screen, and come up with a UI element that's like a grid. I kind of want it to be, I kind of want to be able to take advantage of the card shape aspect of piles, because that's how we're doing it right now, is these things have a, these card piles have these things called card container shapes, and they let you define the characteristics. So like some of them are simple and they're just stacks and they don't have any characteristics at all. Some of them are quite involved, like the player's hand. The player's hand has this whole, you know, swept arc thing, right? Like this is pretty sophisticated. So I kind of need it to be like that. I kind of need to, what I need to do is I need to extend this concept of a card shape to be more of a thing that I can use in a card container, I think. Because we already have a quote-unquote card hand. Right now we use preview hand, which is a card hand, which is just a special kind of card hand that does some things, like it shuffles, like when you load a card hand, just so you can't cheat and like figure out the order your deck is in, it like shuffles the cards and then it sorts them by some metric. Right now I think it goes alphabetically and then by level. But I kind of need something like this. Like, oh no, this is a whole hand. This isn't even a shape. That's maybe what I need to do, because I want these things to be kind of, I want them to be somewhat interactive, but only somewhat. Like, I don't want you to be able to just grab and move around the cards. Enable pile drag? No. Enable reordering. If true, the hand will reorder cards during drag. What if you turn that off? Well, I already can't do that here. Is that because I disabled a card? I guess I could do it. If we look at the preview hand. Like, I can't actually manipulate these. Is it just because enable reorder is unchecked? I think that's what it is. So yeah, I kind of need something like this. Maybe we use a card hand instead of just a card shape. But then the card shape could still come into play if I use this grid. I kind of need to experiment with this. Is the grid a control node? Yeah, we could pop it into a scroll container. The trick is setting something like that up. Probably just need to make a preview for it, because yeah, we need an interface where you can be like, search your deck for a card, And then you need to literally be able to bring up your deck and like pick a card, right? Or you need to be like, or like I said, you need to be able to bring up a preview and it's like discard down to 6 cards. And maybe we could use your built-in card hand for that, but probably not. I probably need a mode where you can't click and drag the cards around, but you can click them to either add them to like a group or to like do whatever. Like if the game is like pick 1 of 3 cards because you won this encounter. So I need an interface for that. And yeah, it's probably just a scrollable container with a card hand in it. I guess we try. That is what we try. So let's make a control node. Let's add I might call it like a card picker if it's the pickable version, or maybe I have a different version. Use scrollable container. Used to provide scroll bars to a child control when needed. A container used to provide a child control with scroll bars when needed. Scroll bars will automatically be drawn at the right or bottom. And will enable dragging to move the viewable control and its children within the scroll container. So this needs to be... The problem with this is this needs to be bigger than the viewport. I guess that's just how that works. That just automatically will also automatically resize the grabber based on the control custom minimum size of the control relative to the scroll container. Yeah, so we want something like that. Might as well just give it the full layout. Full rect. So what if I just, and then this is complaining because there's nothing in here. It's intended to work with a single child control. Use the container as a child or a control and set the custom minimum size manually. Okay. The children will overflow automatically. Neat. I figured that must be the case. So what I want to do here is I want to add a card hand of a kind. Provides drag-based reordering, focus chain management, and Z-index stacking. Do I want all of this? We can turn off drag-based reordering. I like the focus chain management. I would like to not have to deal with that myself in Z-index. And we get the benefit of it being a card container, which is probably why we need to do this. We would extend this class and overwrite. So let's do that. We'll start with a card hand. We will give it a shape. We'll give it a grid shape. So here's the thing. It takes a number of rows. I don't want to set the number of rows. Can the number of rows be like, if true, arrange card by rows left to right, then down. If false, by columns. Arrange by rows is what I want. Let's look at this script. I guess I could just extend the grid shape in it. Number of columns, number of rows. Cute raw cards. I guess I could create a new one of these every time. Cute raw card. Maybe I don't want to do it this way. I mean, I do want to do it this way, but it's slightly... It seems like it's slightly annoying. I guess we just have to recompute the number of rows. Which means we probably just need to recreate the card hand. Which is fine, because the whole point is that you instantiate this picker because you're like, I want to look at all these cards. And we know how many cards we want to look at, so we'll just tell it. We'll just divide. We'll just have a fixed number of cards per row, and we'll just calculate the number of rows. Like, we'll have a fixed number of columns and a dynamic number of rows. Hey, Chris Knife. Got me on the big screen. Nice. At least for a few more minutes here. We're probably going to wrap up soon. I know I started a little late today. But we're doing all right. We're finishing up some UI stuff. Well, we're kind of wrapping things up, so I'm kind of just thinking about something I want to do next. Arrange by rows. So yeah, it looks like, so I like this get focus. The fact that it handles the focus for me is really nice. Really nice. So that if someone's controlling it with like a D-pad or like a keyboard. I haven't implemented any kind of Godot focus UI stuff, but I know I eventually will, especially now that we are sure that we will be able to support Steam Deck. I know I want to add that. Theoretically, this game could be played entirely with a keyboard. Or entirely with a mouse. And I like that. I like a game that can be played one-handed. Something casual. Do I have any coffee left? Probably not. A little coffee. A little is good. Yeah, I've messed around with the focus. I think I've done it in like maybe a jam game or two, or I at least messed with it. I might have given up on it, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Their focus controls are good. It's tedious because you have to define focus direction for a lot of stuff, and that's part of the reason why I'm excited to use this, is because they handle calculating the focus for the neighbors. So this actually has to be empty. This either has to be empty or it has to just be a stand-in. Oh, no. This can be here. It's the shape. It's the container shape that needs to change. And the container shape is basically just a resource. So I could just predefine some, like when we know, okay. This is gonna be a little hard to test. Because I need to feed it, I basically need to feed it a deck and then figure out how to organize it. So I guess that's what the card hand will be. The card hand would like look, it'll like receive a deck. It will look at the number of cards in the deck, and then it will probably just create its own card shape. Or I guess it calls this a container shape. Or I guess what it is a grid shape. It create its own instance of a grid shape. If I need to add behavior to the grid shape, I can. And then I can add behavior if I need to of like... I guess I would add behavior to the hand, not the shape. If I need behavior. Right now we call it the preview hand, and so I guess it'll take over that job eventually. Right now it's just a... Right now it just uses a different grid shape altogether. But it's basically what I want. What am I going to call this? Card. Scrollable card container. I don't know. We call it like a deck preview. Card deck preview. Something like that. Card library. This is just for like looking at a set of cards. You send it a list. I could have just called it card preview. But we'll call it like this. And then this will eventually be an instantiation of the preview hand, but right now the preview hand already exists. Right now the preview hand is the thing that lets us do this. Which is like, hey, let me look at all the cards in my deck. It should be alphabetized. It seems to be alphabetized, but it's in ascending order, which is kind of whack. I feel like it didn't used to be that way. We can do the same thing with like the discard pile, where it's a lot more manageable and you're like, oh, I get it. I guess I have it ascending, right, to ascending because of the way they kind of fold over each other. But yeah, we're going to make a grid version of it. I wonder how many cards I can fit in this grid comfortably. That's kind of what I want to test. Let's test that. Where'd that scene go? Here we go. That's what I really want to know is like, how many cards can we actually fit? Wish there was an easier way to look at this. I mean, I guess we could math it out. How wide is this? 64? 640, not 64. 640. The cards are 92 pixels wide. Less than 7. There's a question about whether I want it to take up the whole space or just like the middle part here. So it'll probably be 4 cards across. We'll probably have room for 4. Yeah, I don't know if we'll have room for even 6 cards with like nice margins between them. Might just do 4 or 5. I could do 5. I kind of want something else for like character selection. We kind of want it to be centered because usually it's going to be 3, right? Because 3 is like the sweet spot in terms of you pick 3. Yeah, I think it's going to be 5. I think a row is going to be 5 cards. I think theoretically we could do 6. But 5 looks like it's going to be a lot more comfortable. So yeah, we'll need a lot of rows. Because you're only going to be able to see like 2 rows at a time, really. So that means you can only have 10 cards on screen at a time for the preview. It's good to know. All right. I think I'm going to wrap it up here for today. We're going to find someone to raid out too. Keep this raid train going. Appreciate everyone hanging out today. All right, where are we going? Where's this party headed? Big Boy Games is streaming. Fern is streaming. Adagon is streaming. Who on my team is streaming? Yet again, Fern. We'll go hang out with Big Boy Games. They're working on a tic-tac-toe tactics game that they call Tac-Tic-Toe, which I love. So if I get this name right. Yeah, thanks for hanging out, everybody. I'm pretty sure I'll be online tomorrow. If I'm not, I'll let you know. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. We're getting there. I'm making a to-do list tonight. We're doing it, and I will be checking it twice because we've got 4 weeks. 4 weeks till my next potential playtesting milestone of the first like actual involved playtesting, and I want to make it. I want to hit this one. I can't really blow past this deadline like I just did the last one. So yeah, we're gonna do it. Hopefully that gets us back into jam mode where we're actually just getting a solution, getting whatever works for now. It's good enough for now, good enough to ship. Hopefully it'll get us back in that attitude, because I admit we've kind of lagged a bit. Gotten a little too comfortable. So it's time to get a little uncomfortable. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day. And I'll see you all next time. Bye.